Hi guys, I'm Uncle Richie.
Yo, what up? J Money's back.
And this is C10. And you're listening to the Unkles Podcast.
Welcome to the Unkles. Welcome to the Unkles. Uncles think there's an uncle.
Yeah, bro. So it's just a little chat. Didn't want to do an intro or anything because I think I've known you for a while now.
Yeah, bro. It's been a while, eh?
Been a couple of years. So let's just get right into it. Actually, I will do a little intro.
Yeah.
So everyone, thanks for joining. This will be episode 54. Kenny and I, we've been chatting for a bit now, but it's really good to have him on the potty. He's someone who's been in the fitness industry now for quite some time, and he's trying to build up his rep at the moment in that space. But also, he loves playing rugby league on the side, and used to play a lot of union before.
Yeah.
And we both went to the same school, which I'm sure you guys all know now where we went to school, so I won't say what school that is.
NC.
NC party.
NC party.
But no, it's really good to have him on, and we want to speak about your journey into rugby league at the moment, because you did play a bit of union, Queensland Premier Grade rugby at Norths, and building your I guess building a pathway through there, and then now trying to make it in leagues. So, bro, to start off with, how's it all going?
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for having me. First of all, Richie.
Yeah,
It's been a pleasure.
yeah.
We've known each other for a while now. Going back to Nudgee a while ago, probably like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, we're old now.
Yeah, I remember I started in Nudgee. I was like year 9. Yeah, year 9. You were in your senior year, year 12.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's where it all started for me. Like that whole fitness and rugby scene, going to Nudgee.
Yeah,
Going to that rugby school, and that whole that macho rugby mentality. Like I was a soccer player when I got there.
same. Yeah.
Ended up on that rugby journey. Yeah. And like everything just come with it, like the journey, like with the fitness and training and all that. So that's where my passion grew.
Mm.
And then I always stuck to it, and taken me this far since. But yeah, with the rugby league journey especially, I think that happened 3 years ago. So this is my 3rd year now playing rugby league. It started 3 years ago when I was during that COVID year, when COVID was on and they scrapped the Q Cup.
Yeah.
And then I was playing Prem grade for Norths, and then we had a couple of league boys come back and play with us that year. We had like John and Ruben.
Yep.
Who else? Alec McDonald. He's with the Storms now.
Oh yeah.
So he was with us that year.
We had a stocky bloke.
Yeah. So we had a couple of good boys like Rory Ferguson as well. That's when I first met Rory.
He just lives over there.
Yeah, next door. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's a small world, eh?
Yeah.
Everything's just tying in together. Yeah. So that's how Rory was the one who was like, he came and he played with us, and he's like dropped the hint. He was like, bro, you should play league. He just like, he reckons I'd be good, like just how I played and stuff, like the way I play the game and stuff. He's like, you'd be suited to the league style game. You should give it a crack. It's always been in the back of my mind, just because like we're from PNG, you know.
Yeah.
That's our sport. Like our people love it. But coming from Nudgee, like just rugby, I never would have seen myself playing league coming from Nudgee. Like you just think you're a union and that's it. Eh?
Yeah.
So I think that's where that switch came from. And I was at Norths for a long time as well. I'm like a one club man. So ever since Nudgee, I've just been at Norths for like 3 years, I think. Yeah. And I think I didn't go too far with my career as what I'd liked. Like I wanted to try to crack it professionally, but I didn't think it was something that was in the back of my mind, but not really like I didn't put too much intention to it.
Yeah.
Until like I had that conversation with like Rory and like a couple of those boys there, and like with that being in the back of my mind, so I was like, oh fuck, this guy actually thinks I'm decent, and he's placed Q Cups, so like that probably says something. And I think that sparked it, yeah. So that's what sparked it, and I think at my time at Norths was coming to an end, just because it was just like it was good footy. I was enjoying it. But like, you know, North like it's got that family culture, not very competitive, so we're always losing games.
Yeah, it's not good when you're losing.
Nah, not good at all. So like, I wanted to experience that other side of the spectrum, you know, like especially coming from Nudgee and like winning a lot of games. Yeah, and that winning season, you come out club footy and then start losing, and it's like, oh fuck, I wonder what it feels like going back into it. So that's why I made that switch. I was like, oh, if I might try another club, but I think if I'm going to switch another club, I've got to change codes. Just because, like, I'll change codes, and then if it doesn't work, I'll come back. Yeah. So yeah, here we are, 3 years in.
Yeah, it's so good, and we'll come back to that. And go into sort of the detail of how you switch codes and the process of getting through it and doing all of that. But like, where did it all start for you? Because you've always been in Moresby. Yeah. Were you born and raised there?
Yeah, I was born in Leigh, raised in Moresby. Went to Korobusea International School. And then I went to Promise, 1 year at Promise, year 7.
Yep.
And then I went straight to Nudgee. Yeah. I went to Nudgee. I think my mum. I went to Nudgee because my mum was. I think she knew you had gone to Nudgee as well because she was doing some work with your old man.
There's always
there's always like a connection there, yeah. So like, and I knew a couple of my boys like that I went to school with at Coro as well. Like a couple of them were leaving to go overseas as well. Like John O'Getsy, he was going to like BBC and all that, and like, he was gonna go to Nudgee, and like it was only like mum sort of wanted me to go there. Like my parents obviously had a plan for me. It's just it was in the back, but like, you know, you don't really think much of it until they tell you, and then that's where it all started, I guess. Yeah. And like growing up in PNG, we're like footy crazy, so we're always playing touch rugby, like, you know, in the afternoon, after school, at school, everywhere, you know. If there's no footy ball, it's with a container or whatever it is. Put stones in the container, bro, that's it.
And then like coming over here, because we always speak about some of the challenges. I mean, I look back at it now, and it was like Nudgee made it easy for us. Because there were already lots of PNG boys there.
Yeah, 100%.
But were there any sort of challenges, whether it were cultural or trying to fit into Aussie society? Did you have any challenges when you moved over?
Man, that's a hard one, because I think about it, and I think there is definitely like cultural challenges like within stuff, but at the same time, like you were saying, having like those Nudgee boys back home, like we sort of came here and then we had our group. Like, you know, we had like our space, and that's like who we were, you know. Like, and every time you see him, like, it just reminds you, oh, I'm a PNG boy, you know. I come from this is where I come from, and it just reminds you, you know, like we all come from the same place. And we're all in this, like, you know, we're here trying to create something for ourselves. So I think there's always that back image in the back of my head, you know, every time because I've always had that home feeling, that home space here. But definitely like challenges in themselves, like communication, like speaking, and especially like effective communication, and like being confident with your communication too. Like sometimes there's something that you don't know, but you don't say it just because you're not confident enough to ask the question. You know what I mean? Little stuff like that, I think, was like the barriers for me, and just overcoming that and being confident within myself. But that just came with time, like, you know, mingling around like with other people from different races and cultures too. That definitely helped a lot.
Bro, that was a big one for me. Like once like going through school, I sort of was always saying yes, or like when you get told to do something, you just say yes. Whereas like looking back at it now, I saw a lot of my mates, like Aussie boys, who would always challenge the teacher or something, say like, no, like, why are we doing this? Or no, I want to do this. But we were always taught, like, respect your elders, do the right thing. So whatever we were told is that, you know, that's something that we'll do. But now after a few years, like getting a bit older, like you said, effectively communicating, you're able to, you know, say no, or like ask why. Like, why do I have to do that?
Bro, 100%. I think it comes with our culture as well, because like we're very family orientated. It's like we move with the group sort of thing. So it's like whatever the group does, we'll do as well. Like, you know, that's just who we are, how we come from. So that's one part of it too. And then obviously, like, you know, experiencing the other cultures and stuff, and like how everyone's like, you know, independent and like make their own decisions, and it all works out for them too, you know. So like, there's positives and negatives, but I think that was like one of the things for me too, like navigating around myself, like knowing when to like, you know, say yes or knowing when to say no, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
And so we spoke about you know, obviously leaving school, you playing at Norths, but I think the biggest thing I wanted to, I guess, touch on is, you know, your move across from union to league, and because we never played league before, like we were always union.
Yeah.
But what was the transition like for you when you had that first year of league? Was it the preseason that was the hardest thing?
Yeah, bro, it definitely was the preseason. Yeah, that was tough. The running, the cardio aspect, a lot of running. Definitely different to union. That was what got me heaps. And even like just the game itself and how it's played, like the tackle as well, and like how the wrestling. Yeah, you don't really wrestle much in union. Compared to league, and the tackling is different too. Like in union, like you go low first. And then you go up top, whereas in league you're meant to go up top first and then low. Depends where you are on the field, but like usually you go up top so you can hold the ball up just to buy time, and then you get him on the ground. Whereas union is the other way around, and that's what got me heaps. Like whenever we'd be going into contact and someone's running at me, I'd just be going straight to chop him, you know. And like I'd just be going straight to chop him, and like when the boys are like, you know, it's better, more effective if you do it together. Like get the 2-man stick. And then hold him up, fight, and then bring him down slowly.
And you always
that way,
you
wrap the ball up, like all of that stuff. Like that was like that was a challenge for me. Like knowing, alright, I didn't have to like try to drop this guy. You know, like just got to get in there. You know, make sure I'm at the right spot. You know, get in the hit at the same time. It's all a timing thing, and like just trying to work that timing together with that conditioning aspect. That really got me, I guess. But I guess my preparation to it was pretty good as well. Like coming from my background and my knowledge in fitness and stuff, like I did have a good off season. Like built myself pretty well, which is why I believe I was pretty successful. Like with my first go and like cracking A grades, probably in like my first three rounds or so. I was able to play a couple of A grade games, and that was pretty good. And then like that's from there like got the ship going.
And that was at the Valleys?
That was at Valley Diehards, first ever league season, with them.
How was the Valleys? Because they're just down the road from us here.
Down the road. Oh man, it was awesome, bro. It was perfect because like I like the color blue because I'm from Nigeria, so it's like went back to Valleys, royal blue. I was like, back to square one, you know. But it's a good club, good people, a lot of history too. So it's like. I do like playing for those sort of clubs, like with a lot of history and just a lot of people a bit more passionate, you know. I like playing with like people like that, you know, that go all in. It just means a bit more, and you know, the win just hits a bit home, you know, hits home a bit better.
Everyone gets around.
I can't play around a team that's like half there, half not.
It just makes it less fun, really.
No, it doesn't. So Valleys was a good club. They're always competitive. So they always got good blokes there. So it was good. Like it was a perfect environment for me to go into. Like I think if I were to go to like a club where was sort of at the bottom of the table, like a Norths club sort of thing, I think I would have struggled a little bit. Just because like Valleys was good, just because the competition was there, and like I was already like in there trying to earn my spot, and I didn't know anyone too. No one at all, so like it was perfect. I just went in there, didn't know anyone, no one knew me, so
you're just doing
just grinding, just all in my head, the whole preseason. It was good. Had a good season. My first taste there was really good. Couple A grade games under my belt, and then
And then you had so you played another season there.
I played 2 seasons there. I played my first season, and then had a second season, which was last year. But only half a season. So I only played halfway through, and then I left to go to Mackay.
That's
the other half of last year. So that was my second year. I played a 1.5 year and 1.5 in Mackay.
How was Mackay?
Man, Mackay was good. It was different. Like the footy's there, like the footy over there is different. Country footy.
Country footy.
Tough, bro. Like physical footy, bro.
Blokes can whack.
Yeah, bro, they love it there, man. Like that's the different. I think they just love like the intensity and the physicality of the game.
Yeah.
Not so much skill, but like physically, yeah, it's there. Yeah, and you sort of get caught in there too. Like they love it there, bro.
Yeah.
And there's so many good talent that comes out of there too.
Mm.
That was a good experience. Yeah, going to that club for the Magpies, Mackay Magpies.
Yeah.
Great club. Good
Yeah.
good president as well. The president there was
Really good.
fucking best president
Yeah.
I've seen so
Well,
far.
it's good because you sort of, you went to a good club in Valleys.
Yeah.
Had a taste of it.
Yeah.
Had with some good experience.
Yeah.
1.5 years under your belt, A grade, and then you go to the Mackay Magpies.
Yeah.
And like as you said, play a bit of country footy and
Yeah.
they're a bit more tough.
Yeah.
Not as skillful, but tough as well. So
Yeah.
like you sort of just tick those two boxes.
Yeah.
there.
Straight away. And
Yeah.
it was good too because that Mackay team was like, it was one of those teams where like it was a really, they were real heavy on experience. Like they had a lot of ex-NRL players in there too. So like our captain Lamatasi was played for the Roosters.
Yeah.
He played in Europe as well for Leeds. I think Rhinos were one of those clubs.
Yeah.
But like there was a lot of old heads in there that
Mm.
played all around like New South Wales Cup and stuff like that. So it was good like just having a gel with those group of boys
Yeah.
as well, like rub off them a little bit,
Yeah.
take on a bit of their experience. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I think the main aspect what I took out from there was like, especially with the league journey, like it's so competitive compared to union. Like it's competitive in a way where like if you're fighting for a spot and like if your spots that you're fighting for it's already been taken by someone, it's like
Yeah.
you're really fighting until he's injured or if he does something stupid, and he gets pulled up and then you get up, or you just, it's like you steady grind until the guy up top loses it and then you get your shot at it. It's either that or you've got to go somewhere else,
Yeah.
just to get your name out there. So that's sort of like what I had to do in a way. Because I was at Valleys, I was getting picked in A grade, but at the same time, like, I wasn't first priority. Like, there were boys coming down from, like, the Devils that would get picked over me. Like, if they were to get dropped, like, we'd get six or so blokes, like, from Norths. And they get Valleys are pretty good with their affiliation with Norths. Like, they get 6 or 7 always. Like,
Yeah, let's speak about that because the union boys, like, we don't really understand that because, like, you would have known, like, when you're at Norths, you have your 15, and that's your 15 that you're going to play with. You train all year, start of the week, and it's set. Unless someone gets injured, that's it. But in league, you have your 13, but if North's Devils say, all right, we don't need these 6 players, they come back to BRL, and that pushes 6 players down into
reserve grade, and just comes in. Yeah, so it works like that from the top down, actually. It goes all the way from NRL down. So, like, NRL will have, like, top 30 men, right? So, top 30 contracted. Obviously, like, they only pick 18 or however so for the weekend, 18 usually. And then the rest, the bottom 30 will go down. Like, they got to play bottoms. Like, they got to come down. So, that bottom 30, how many of them? Probably, like, another, 13 or 12 or so? Usually, it'll be 6-6. So, usually, depending on the club, like, if they've got 2 feeder clubs, they'll go 6 this way, 6 that way. Like, you know what I mean? Depends. Some clubs they just have like say we were just talking about like the Dolphins. How they're just keeping it in house. So like all their players just go to their club. So that's why they'll have a stack. Like their BRL side will be stacked. It's just all cup players. Whereas like say for example Broncos, their bottom 30 will be split between Souths, Logan Magpies, and Wynnum Seagulls. And they got Burleigh now, so they got 3 feeders there. So Burleigh, Wynnum, and Souths. But majority of them go to Wynnum and Souths. I don't think Burleigh have that many. But yeah, so like that's how it works. So it'll filter down. So 6 will go down the cup. So then cup will have to send their boys down. So they'll start reshuffling their lineup. So their 13 that they have, some of them will have to come to bench, and then obviously everyone from the bottom just goes down one. So yeah, so it's like even in that like top 30 spot, like you're really if you're like what do you call it, bottom 30 or So yeah, obviously it just all shuffles down. So whatever happens up there, it just all comes down.
Yeah.
So say if like the big shift is like if an NRL team has a bye, that's when like the big changes happen. So like if the Broncos have a bye, then you're surely like it's sure that Wynnum Souths are going to be stacked on the weekend, you know, and then it just means that their feeder teams, the BRL teams, will be stacked on the weekend because they have all their cup boys and then all the NRL boys are playing cup, like you know.
Yeah, I
So
didn't even know that.
yeah, so that's
That's
so that's how it works. Yeah. So yeah, so it's like every time the team is sort of changing.
Yeah, but that's I guess that's a challenge for you guys.
So that's a challenge in itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like you've got to be ready.
Yeah.
So you just got to be ready, so that when your spot comes, like that's your only chance. Like if you fuck it up, that's it. Your spot may never come. Like your chance may never come again. Like till like a couple other rounds. You know what I mean? Because like it's either the coach is willing to give it to you again, or he's just gonna have to give someone else. You know that hasn't had to go. Because there'll be other blokes that, like it's sad, like there's some blokes who would be signed like top 30 NRL that won't even get an NRL game. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are the ones that cop it the most. Like those bottom 30, and they're on like minimum salary. That's why they were having those disputes and stuff, like about like how the bottom 30 players are not getting paid enough and they have to do it like full time. Like they can't get a full time job, but at the same time they're doing full time NRL. So that's why they changed the laws, like with the cap and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So they increased it to like I think it's like 100k or 90. I'm not too sure what the numbers, but they bumped it up, for sure.
Which is good, yeah.
Which is good, for the boys.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I can just.
Yeah, but it's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's interesting, man. It's like that middle ground, like when you're trying to crack it, like it's a really tough spot to be in. Like you've got to be like mentally, like prepared. That's what a lot of the players will come through like either like junior reps and they come up through the system and like they go in, but then there's also some who like come from outside, and they try to crack it in. Whereas like those ones who are in the system, they sort of have like first hand because like they're in there, they're already in there, like whereas like the ones who are coming out, like they're trying to crack it, but at the same time it's like competitive in that way. Yeah. So it's like these guys who are coming up from the junior pathways will have first preference, but then if you're coming from outside, you just got to keep working hard, and like keep being consistent. And like sometimes, if you're not consistent somewhere, like you got to go somewhere else to be consistent. Like for me, like when I was at Valleys, like I got to be consistent at Valleys, but like if I'm playing reserve grade, like they're not really seeing that consistency. They're just looking at the A grade games. You know what I mean? So it's like if I'm not playing A grade, I got to be playing A grade somewhere else. That's why I left. So I was like, I got to go like to Mackay or something. And like when I went to Mackay, like that move in itself was what sparked my opportunity to play Q Cup. So like if I hadn't gone to Mackay and gone out there to like try and crack this side, and it was sort of like a decision where like it was a 50-50 one too, because it was halfway through the season and they were going undefeated, like the boys in the Magpies. So they were undefeated, and like I was going to go and join them. So it was like the president was like, "Oh mate, look, like I can give you this much, like this is how much I can give you, blah blah, but I'm not saying that you're going to come in and get a jersey straight away. Like you got to earn your spot. Like the boys are undefeated, so it's not going to be easy. But like I just took it anyway. That was a risk I had to take, so I took it. It paid off, bro. Like we got the premiership, ended up playing like good footy, and from the back of that, like I got my contract from Tweed. Yeah. So that was.
Yeah, I think it's paid off big time because I just remember at the start of the year I was on the socials, and then I saw your photo with Tweed, and I was like, oh shit. Yeah. The Tweed Seagulls, let's go.
Yeah, bro. So I was like, it was pretty good, man. Like in that way, when I seen it, I was like, oh fuck yeah. Like I've always got to be going out to somewhere. Like you just got to be finding that edge, wherever it is. Like you just got to go there.
And now, like yesterday, I came and watched you at. You played at Carina Leagues Club with.
For Beenleigh.
Yeah. But and I must say you played a great game and scored one try there.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to like when you said you made that move to Mackay, and you talked about preparation and how important that is, especially with the work you're doing now, being or trying to make it in the fitness industry as well. Like it's just shown and it's coming to to life all the sort of prep and the hard work that you've done.
Yeah.
And like yesterday's game was a great example of
Yeah.
all those years have, you've developed this well-rounded game and understanding of rugby league. Because like 3 years ago, you had no idea about rugby league.
Bro, I had no idea, man. Even like when I was at Valleys, like that first year, like playing A grade, even though I was playing A grade, like when I look at my footage, like there was always be moments where I'd just be lost, like on the field.
Yeah.
Like there'll be moments where like I wouldn't know where to get to, like the next. Because that's the most important thing about league is like knowing where to get to next.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the middle, it's like knowing where to go next. Like where's your next point? Like back then, like I never knew. I didn't have any idea. Like field awareness and all that shit. That just wasn't in my head, bro. Like I was just so used to like that union sort of field position and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really think too much about like union and what areas of the field where I should be and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So all of that sort of all came in and that just all came in like off the back of me putting myself in that tough position. Like I went to that Valleys, like that was a competitive club. I just gave it a go, and then I went to Mackay. Gave that a crack, and it all paid out. Yeah.
And well, that's like what I said. Like yesterday, you look like a well-rounded rugby league player.
Yeah.
And like it's obviously you've put yourself there, but you've also like we've touched on a little bit. You're working in the fitness industry. Well, looking for work now at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment.
So anyone out there who's watching, if you got a gym, you need a trainer. Kenny's your guy.
100.
So, how important is that for you? Like, where would you say you found your love, like, for fitness? Did that come through rugby? How important is it for you to keep fit and keep healthy and, keep going?
Yeah, I think the fitness aspect, like, I think it came naturally, like, with footy. Like, it's coming through Nudgy, like, you just knew you had to do it, and that was one of the things we loved doing as well. Like, coming through Nudgy, like, they just nailed it in you, like, you had to go gym, all of this and that. It was all part of it, so I think that's what really helped build my passion for it. But I think it sort of built a bit more when I was sort of when I was playing at Norths and then playing Prem grade.
Yeah.
And then I was having a lot of injuries, bro, like with my knees and stuff like that. Like always having like patella tendonitis and stuff like with knee pain and stuff like that. And it was always confusing because like, you think that like, we're footy players and we're strong and we're in the gym, but like we always get these little niggles and stuff like that. And then it was just me trying to manage those injuries and those niggles.
Yeah.
And I think finding the right tools, like the right information, the right knowledge, the right people, and then obviously addressing my issue myself and like fixing it, most importantly, and coming off the back of that and then playing footy and that whole process, and that's what sort of sparked my passion. Like when I realized like, oh shit, I actually sorted out my knees, they're not hurting anymore, like no one really helped me, like I actually done it myself, like I'd done my own research, like did the hard yards, done it, and like it worked, and I just kept on pursuing that space. And like, man, ever since that first year, like I've never had an injury, soft tissue injury.
Wow.
Like I've had niggles and that every now and then, but I've always managed to stay on top of it and recover it quick. So that's one thing that really drove me into that space. It's like, oh shit, it's pretty cool. Like I figured out how to sort this out. Like, man, this was awesome. If I can keep pushing in this direction, and like if I can keep producing these results, and I've obviously got something going here, and like obviously like I can help a lot of people within that space. So that's where I got to. So it's like, man, like if I can do this to myself and like produce results, of course, like for me that would be like making Q Cup, like cracking Q Cup. Obviously, back end of the goals, like playing professional rugby, whoever that may be for. Like that'll be the result aspect to it. And obviously, if I can get those, and I've based off what I've done to myself, like I can show anyone how to do it. Most especially like back home in PNG.
It's important because I'm going through like my own sort of I'd say challenge now of like not drinking. And that's sort of allowed me to fully like understand my body, and there's little niggles that have come up like from years of footy and
Yeah.
I guess neglect of not stretching and
Yeah.
doing certain things. So like my knees are bad and I'm really trying to work on them now, and
Yeah.
I've got quite tight shoulders,
Yeah.
which I'm trying to loosen up
Trying
as
to loosen
well.
up as well, yeah.
Like how important, because I know that there'd be a lot of PNG people
Yeah.
that are listening to this and they're probably asking like, shit, like how do I start, or like
Yeah.
what do I need to do to maybe take the first step to doing something that will fix my body.
Yeah.
Like what sort of advice would you give to them?
Yeah, bro. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, consistency is like the main ingredient. Yeah, at the end of the day, man, like, I think any recipe will do. It's just like, you just got to do it, like, So I always believe, like, there's always like 100 ways to where you want to get to. But at the end of the day, you got to be consistent.
Yeah.
So, like, and no matter what way you're taking, like, if you be consistent, then you'll know where to go next. Like, you know what I mean? Like for me, for an example, like for me was like, I was training, like, physically, like I was at a good place, like with myself physically when I was playing rugby union.
Yeah.
And like, because of my history and my knowledge with fitness and stuff, I've always been in the gym and stuff like that, keeping on to my strength and conditioning and all that. So I was always at a good place, like with my physical body and stuff. But then when those niggles started to come in, that's when I was like, hey, what's going on here? Like, I'm doing all of these, right? Like, I'm ticking these boxes, but why is this happening? So then it just makes you think, oh, maybe something I'm doing here is not right. So maybe I need to switch something around in my training, like, what I mean? So then I'm just looking at it, I'm like, oh, what is it that I need to switch around? Maybe I need to do a bit more mobility, I'm doing a lot of strength work, but not so much mobility, not so much recovery. So then you just start prioritizing, like, stuff that you need now. And then it's just a little, like, you're just always mixing and matching the puzzle, I guess. It's like a matter of staying consistent and then, like, choosing what's best for you now. And then it's not going to be the same, like, this month isn't going to be the same as next month, It's like when I'm in the gym, it's like every time, like, the week, it's like there's always something to work on. Like, I'm not always working on the same thing. Like, 1 week, my hips are a bit out of whack. I need to work on this a bit more. 1 week, it's my shoulder, And it's always that sort of spectrum. But if you're being consistent, then you'll know where to look, you know what I mean? Whereas if you're not being consistent at all, it's just like,
Guessing.
you're just guessing, you're just like shooting blank shots, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I think the best thing to do is just to get consistency right in whatever, like what you were doing, Bern, like what you were saying, like how you stop drinking alcohol, like you start to be consistent with that, and then you start realizing, like, oh shit, why am I, I haven't drank last night, like, why do I feel shit today? Oh, it's because I ate all this chocolate last night. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whereas, like, if you drank alcohol and ate chocolate and you're feeling like shit, you don't really know which one it is. Is it the chocolate or the alcohol? And you're probably blaming something else. It's the Dories. The vapes. Oh, shit.
Yeah, bro, that's so true. That's like, even just like not drinking for me, there's so many things that you notice and identify. Like, I'll feel like a little pain in my ankle, and then next day I'm doing like those bands for my ankle, and trying to strengthen that. You just become a lot more aware of your body, and
100%.
especially with intake. Like, a lot of people, and I think I have to be honest, like, this is PNG people as well. I'm sure Pacific Islanders, but like a lot of mates or mates of mates, like, they passed away during COVID, and that was because of a lot of them were quite unhealthy, so they had underlying issues that weren't addressed, and then when they caught COVID, it just added on more pressure and led to them passing on, which is terrible and like so sad. But knowing that now, and trying to be more aware of what you actually take into your body is so important.
100%.
Because you never know when the time may come. Like, and even some people might have an 8-pack or 10-pack or look really good, but their insides could be really bad. Like, so it's really important, and I think for us as Islanders, like, we need to look at do is a snacks cracker actually really good for you?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, like, is oxen palm really good for you?
Yeah.
You know, it's a tinned, canned, processed
Yeah.
food. Like,
Oh man, 100%.
like, probably don't go for the oxen palm. Like, go
Unless-
for your garden food or something.
Go for your fish at the market or something.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man, that's so true, eh?
Mm.
Even back home, eh? Like you think like, oh, you think like people would be shopping from the market heaps, you know,
Yeah.
but like not really, eh?
Nah.
Like everyone just happy to just eat like snacks and tin fish
Yeah.
and drink a tang juice and that's it.
Yeah,
Have a boy and smoke.
That's
But,
the thing. I mean, it's easy for us to say,
Yeah,
because we're in
100%.
Brisbane, and,
Yeah,
but you know, we have family and friends there who we always see and we always
Yeah.
go back and talk to, so we know what's going on. But before we finish off, Roy, I just saw you've got a new page up.
oh yes, bro.
What's the name there? Because I love the name,
Yeah, Movement Em Pawa.
Movement Em Pawa.
Yeah, Movement Em Pawa.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful name. I thought about that one because my socials got hacked.
Yeah.
Probably like 2 months ago. So
Yeah.
I had to start from scratch again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to create a new Insta. It's called Movement Em Pawa.
And what's the thought process behind that? Because I've already seen you put up a few
Yeah,
videos of like you working in the gym,
Yeah.
a few
yeah.
programs for people to follow. Like,
Yeah,
what's
so-
next?
I mean, for me, like my old page, I called it Move with Kenny. Pretty much like so I told you, like, you know, I believe in consistency. So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, when you break it all down, like you really just got to move and you just got to be consistent with it, you know. And you just got to move the body in all its areas, like wherever it can go, you move it, you know, and you see. So that's where it came from. So like I thought about it, you know, I chucked it up, and I was like, chucked it up on what's that? One of those AI engines.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT, and
Yeah.
I was like, just throw me some suggestions because like I've got to create actual name now. Because like when I got hacked on Insta, they hacked my Instagram and like they got in and they changed my recovery emails and passwords and everything. So they didn't actually like, so I couldn't delete my account. So my account's like still active, but it's just you know they're just under here. So the actual tag, like the name itself, I can't use because it's still active.
That's annoying.
So yeah, so I had to create a new name. So yeah, that's why. So I came with Movement Em Pawa. I was thinking along the lines of movement and like, you know, obviously it empowers you. You know what I mean? Like an English term, like you know what it means. Like you're empowered by movement. But then I just spelt it in the Tokusin way, like Empower, EMPAWA. In PNG, if you were to translate that to English, it means movement is power. So in a way, it's like double-edged sword, you know.
Yeah, nice.
Movement empowers and movement is power.
So
Yeah.
I love that, bro, and I think you're doing really well, and I can't wait to share this with everyone, and
Yeah, man.
we'll definitely have to get you on, you know, when you make the NRL.
Oh, shit, the pressure's on.
Nah, thanks, bro. Thanks for that.
Thank you for having me, bro.